Hello, and welcome to another video. This video I'm going to cover Rage Jug. This won't be a very long guide. I'm going to try to keep it shorter. I think you guys might appreciate this a little bit more. I can go in more depth. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I will more than likely be able to answer probably whatever question you have. So what you're looking at is probably a whole bunch of info all at once. I tried to put everything into one sheet. These are the main things that you need to know. You can just pause this and read this, or you can just take it from the description. I'll upload it to like Imager or something so you guys can just take this and have this whenever you need it. If you want to like recommend somebody to play Rage, or you just want to double check like, oh, am I doing the right talents, or is my stats right, stuff like that. Top left, we have implants. We're using the 20% critical. This is a must-have. Like, it's very, very good. 20% extra critical helps us a lot because our crit rate is pretty bad, but our critical multiplier is actually pretty good. So getting any extra critical is just beneficial. And then we have 10% increased melee damage, and whenever you use a melee ability, or not melee ability, but rage spending ability, for 10 seconds. This is just flat damage increase. Is really good. I would maybe not take this and potentially look at taking something else if, and I say if, you want to try a kind of like different build. There are other viable implants. I don't list them here because I don't bother with them. I just prefer this one. It's easier. I like it. It's pretty good. But there are other viable implants that you could run here. It's not necessary though. And then these are my stats. I am min maxed. I have gold dogs. I have all the companion modes. I have all the Datacrons. I have pretty much everything. You can't get better stats than what I do unless you're to go get like 3389 gear, which by the way, I have come to the conclusion that 339, if you were to have it, it's about an AUG's, like a gold AUG's worth of difference in stats. I was talking about this on the forums with somebody. It's not a massive difference, so don't feel the need to go and get that. And it probably will be fixed soon. So basically what I mean by 4 alacrity, 2 accuracy, and rest into critical is that I'm using 4 pieces that have alacrity on them. I'm using 2 pieces that have accuracy on them, and then everything else has critical. So these 2 pieces that have accuracy are just 2 enhancements to their accuracy. The 4 alacrity, well, obviously these can also be left-hand side, so your earpiece and your implants, they all have the same alacrity and accuracy rating as enhancements, so just think of them interchangeably as the same thing. And then everything else goes to crit, and what I mean by that is like you get crit crystals, even though crystals don't work. You have critical augments, and then everything else that you have free is critical enhancements, or left-hand side. Pretty straightforward. One thing I didn't include in this sheet is relics. You can use whatever relics you want. However, I would recommend Devastating Vengeance and the Mastery proc. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like Serendipitous. I think it's that one, or maybe that's the power one. I don't know. My bad. I completely slipped my mind before recording. Otherwise, I would have grabbed that. I use Enraged Crush. Prefer this one. This one allows you to pop your Enraged Crush as an AoE, and also allows you to pop it as instant damage instead of letting it be a slow tick. It's a very good one. You will have to adjust to playing a little bit differently if you don't understand how to use it properly. Then I show my talents here. Basically everything that is red, I do not recommend to ever take. You could, but I really just wouldn't recommend it. And then you can see what I'm taking. That's what I would recommend, but all these other options are also viable and sometimes useful. So don't write them off. You do have some build variety. Then going into our opener and flow, basically what this means is this is what you would do in an opener, ideally. And once you get down to the final ability, it would loop all over again. So this can go on indefinitely, just like the Fury Marauder rotation that I showed you guys. I will make a new one as things have changed a little bit, but I'll make one dedicated towards PvP a little bit more than, PvE, as I don't really care for PvE. So the main thing to take away from here is that you see Saber Throw and Vicious Slash right next to Ravage. So there's use cases here. You can forgo Ravage in PvP completely, but that's if you have enough rage to go into Vicious Slash and to Obliterate to loop your rotation again. If you don't have enough rage, you can use Saber Throw. And if you have just the right amount of rage, you can use Ravage without having, any situations, because you have a little buffer time before you can use Obliterate, and you don't want to just sit there and make it a dead GCD. And if you use Slash, you're going to have rage issues. So unless you already had some extra rage, you've got to kind of just get used to that. And once you have played for a little bit, you'll kind of get that muscle memory. You'll know, it won't be, how to put it, it won't be bad. You'll basically get it. The rotation is really easy. It's just like Fury, just a little bit different. And Rage is just like a mini predation. Rage feels really good. I highly recommend it if you haven't played it yet. Super fun. Other than that, that's pretty much it for this info thing. I want to go into game and explain some other things for you guys. Now, we are in game. Normally, I would explain defensive management, but since I have a whole entire video dedicated to it, I would recommend checking that out. I'll put that in the description. The main things that I want to show you guys while we're in game is, however, certain things that are Jug related. So this is in my older guides. I don't actually have this. I haven't made anything updated for Jug in a long time, but I believe I can get this working pretty easily. I think I need a vendor to show you what I'm talking about. This person works. All right, so what I'm going to show you guys here is that I can target this person right here. I'm not clicking on them. I'm not doing anything. I'm targeting them. And just like tab, I'm able to target them. So no interaction for me, no clicking. This is an ally. Man, I can instantly intercede to them. And if I don't want to look at that one, I can switch to that one. Or if I want to swap to that one, I can swap to that one. So there is a keybind setting that allows you to target the nearest ally or the ally that you're looking at, basically, which works just like the tab target for enemy. You can also do it for ally. This is something that I highly recommend doing for Juggernaut, period. But as Rage, it's even better because you can use it as a root breaker. So I highly recommend doing this. This will save you from so many sticky situations. So let's say you jump in and all of a sudden there's way more people there, or people come out with stealth, or you just don't want to be there anymore, or that you need to support somebody. So let's say I jumped in here and all of a sudden there's 3 people that come around the corner. Okay, maybe I don't want to be here anymore. I can then just turn my camera, hit the button, hit intercede, I'm out instantly. So I can disengage really easily, but also now part of the thing that happened recently that I haven't really been able to try yet is that we've gained CC immunity on our leap, and we also get damage reduction, which is actually really good. I'm surprised Rage got this, let alone a mortal Juggernaut also got this. That's just, I don't know what they were thinking. But now that they have that, you can actually intercede away and then just leap back to get the CC immunity and the damage reduction from leap. That is something that you should try to make a habit of, because the more times you leap, the more times that you're mitigating damage better and you're becoming CC immune, which is pretty much a win-win. And the cooldown for leap and intercede aren't completely the same, but Rage used to get cooldown reduction for intercede. I'm not sure why it lost that, but oh well. And another thing before I close this video off, I am going to talk about taunting and how important it is, especially if you're playing with a tank. Taunts do overlap each other. So whoever's last taunted, that taunt will be the one that's active. So for example, let's say your tank just AoE taunted. If you follow that AoE taunt before that taunt is over, you will overlap his taunt and basically make his taunt useless. So don't do that unless your tank is being tank tunneled, when in that case, do AoE taunt, because you will save him because he's taking full damage, and if you were to AoE taunt, he would take 30% less because you taunted. So this is something that you should always think about. Taunts are something that you should just naturally use and get used to using. AoE taunt is a very valuable skill. Part of having a melee in your on your team basically, or a class that cannot self-heal pretty much. Pretty much all the off-tanking specs, which are pretty much all melee, have access to taunts, and these taunts are extremely, extremely powerful. And I see a lot of people that play the game that just don't use them, and it sucks because it's such a game changer. 30% damage reduction for your allies is absolutely insane. Nothing else does that. And the only thing that was ever really that close was the sword pool with the DR talent, which we don't have anymore. So, you know, it's definitely something that you should probably think about. If you're not already using them, highly recommend using them. You can save your tank from a lot of damage. You can save your allies from a lot of damage. Hell, you can save your healer from a lot of damage. Start taunting. It'll help. And as Rage, let's say you're taking a lot of damage, don't taunt. If you're taking a lot of damage from everybody, just don't taunt. That's as simple as that. Just don't taunt. Super simple, nothing to think about. If somebody else can taunt for you, it'll be so much better. Do not taunt if you're taking too much damage. If you're safe and you aren't really taking damage, taunt. It's like, there's no cost to you. It's off a level cooldown. It's not a big deal. It's helpful. And, you know, if you're taking AoE DR on your threatening scream, maybe, you know, time that a little bit better, but you know, you get the ideal, right? Anyway, before this video goes on for too long, I want to end it there. If you guys have any questions, please do ask. I'll be more than happy to help. And other than that, not really sure if I'm going to follow this format for every single guide that I'm going to try to push out, but I have talked about a lot of the a lot of stuff that would probably go into each individual guide in its own dedicated video, which I will put most of this in the description if you're interested in any other guides that I've created. But other than that, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I appreciate you guys for watching.